guess about 4 years ago in...
Closer to the mic!
Oh, sorry. So my story took place about 4 years ago. It was during my last year of pharmacy school. I got the good fortune to spend a month, instead of working at a crappy chain store on the corner, I got to go to Slovenia. So I was in a little community pharmacy in Eastern Europe. It was really great. Let's see. I had a roommate who was never around. I met her a couple of times, and I ended up spending most of my free time with this girl from Portugal who happened to be doing some like crazy pharmaceutics research or something like that. So anyway, we made a few little weekend trips here and there. We went canoeing and beautiful lakes, and we planned a trip down to Sarajevo because why not? We're as close as we've probably ever been to Bosnia, and now's a good time to go. So anyway, at the last minute, we had our tickets. Her professor decided that he couldn't spare her for the weekend. She had to stay in the lab, and so I had to decide, do I go to Sarajevo by myself, or do I not? And I think anyone would have chosen to go, despite the warnings from all the Slovenians about maybe that's not a great place to go by yourself if you're a single woman. Maybe you should be more careful and go somewhere else that's safer. But I already had the tickets, so it is what it is. I got on the train, and let's see, as soon as we got there, I got off and I went to the ATM and got out some marks, which was not that easy to do. Apparently, Sarajevo is not quite as westernized as a lot of the other places in Europe, so did that, went to the market, decided to buy some unique gifts such as pens made from bullet casings from the recent war. And then, as the guy was giving me my change, I noticed he looked at me kind of strange before he handed it to me, and he switched out one of the bills, and I thought that was kind of weird, but I didn't really get into it too much. I just kind of went on my way until I went to spend that bill, and no one would accept it. It had the corner torn off. And I guess that's a big deal, so pretty much I kept trying to spend the thing and no one would take it, so eventually I tried to buy some bananas from a woman who spoke perfect English, and she told me that like it's void, basically, you're screwed, sorry, can't use that. So I thought, well, that's, you know, it'll be an expensive little souvenir for myself. So anyway, I did my thing, and then on the last day it was time to get back on the train and head back up to Ljubljana, and I nervously had my book out with a little bit of Bosnian so I could hail a taxi, because I'm American, I speak only English, so I thought, at least I can learn a few words. So the taxi driver came up, and my little book says it shouldn't cost more than 5 marks, and I thought, that's great, because I have exactly 5 marks. And then, let's see, so the guy comes up, and I say hello as best as I can, and he understands me and says hello back, and then I say the word train station, so I'm kind of like, you know, like a toddler, like an adult-sized toddler saying, train station! But he understood what I said, he's repeated it back to me, and then I wanted to make sure that, you know, I had the $5 or 5 marks would be enough, and I said, I pointed to the book that said how much, that one was impossible to pronounce, and he said, he pointed to the 10, and I thought, oh, he's going to rip me off, that's really great. And then I remembered that I had that bill, it was a 10, and I thought, ooh, now was my chance to get a little revenge. So I got in the taxi, and when he dropped me off, I had my stuff ready to go. I darted out of there, and I handed him that 10. Suddenly, he speaks perfect English. He says to me, this bill is no good, you need to pay. And I said, what? I'm sorry, I can't understand you. That's when he brought out the curse words. I don't know if anyone else has been to Eastern Europe and noticed the same thing, but it seems like in English classes, they tend to learn the F word first. That's not one word that they have mastered. Or maybe it's just the way I live. That's pretty bad other people, but yeah, so my faking it story is about a Bosnian taxi driver who faked not being able to speak English.